Hey you! You're watching a clip from the DynamiteGizmo Podcast. This is not the full episode, but if you want to see the full episode, make sure to click the link in the description. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. Do it now! Here's the clip. We just had UFC Noche this past weekend. Diego Lopes versus Jean Silva. Jean Saliva. Okay? And it was one of those ones. We didn't care which way it went. At least I didn't. I like Diego. I like Jean Silva. I like the fighting nerds. I like Diego. And Diego won. He creamed. He creamed Jean Silva's khakis. He took his pants down. He took a spatula out. He scooped out some butter. And he slathered his ass with it. You should have been there. You should have seen it. It was nice. I seen it somewhat live. Couldn't watch the full thing because I was preoccupied at an event. So I had to go back and rewatch it. I had my laptop available and ready to go, as always. It was on a table. I was watching it, but my full attention wasn't there. And since there's no fights this weekend, maybe I'll do a UFC Noche rerun for myself. Watch all the fights that I missed, because I missed a bunch. Maybe, I don't know. I don't speak Guatemalan. I really don't.
I want to oil you up. What the fuck does that mean?
Thanks, Dana.
And I don't like Eminem.
I need more sound bites. I say that every time. Doesn't it feel weird? Doesn't it feel weird not having a UFC event on a weekend? They're so common nowadays. You get one every weekend, so when you don't get one, it's kind of like, maybe I should do something with my life. Maybe I should go out to a Mexican restaurant and play some mariachi, listen to some mariachi music, maybe have a couple tacos. I don't know. It just doesn't feel... There's an empty void that hovers over you while you sit around and wait for the next week to come. It's as if weekends nowadays are void without the UFC. It doesn't feel right. It feels like there's something missing. It's like when a family member or a brother or a significant other goes away on vacation and you're used to having them there in the house, and then all of a sudden they're gone. What do you do now? I miss them. Come back, please. Come back. But it's okay. We'll have something next week. Reyes is back. But we're not talking about that. I want to talk about Fluffy Hernandez. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. He was supposed to fight. Now he isn't. There was a somewhat much, I would argue very much, stacked lineup for the Vancouver UFC card on October 18th. Now, I was originally planning on going to this event, but the moment the general admission tickets were available, they sold out in a second. And I'm sure this is pretty typical for UFC events, but I've never actually gone to one. And I wanted to this time. I said, might as well treat myself. They're in Canada. I might as well go. Sure, it's in British Columbia. I'll have to fly over there and pay $1,000 for a flight and pay $2,000 for a hotel. But maybe I'll do it. But nope, tickets were gone. And the only tickets available were the really, really expensive ones. And I wasn't going to do that. But whatever. I'll wait for it to come back to Edmonton, because I'm sure it will. It was in Edmonton last year, in November, which was my birthday month, and that would have been the perfect opportunity to go. But I decided not to, because the card was not as stacked as I wanted it to be. And that is a terrible mindset. Just because a card is not stacked doesn't mean you still shouldn't go. I've talked about cards before and how people complain about them, whether or not they're stacked, and we're not going to get into it. But all I'm saying is if UFC's in your hometown or in your home area, your home state, your home province, your home country, an area close to you, just take the opportunity and go. Okay, you might get surprised. It might be good. Or it might not. It might be shite. As the Scottish folk like to say. But to be honest, I'm glad I didn't actually buy tickets for the card in Vancouver. Because now the main event is completely fucked up. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is no longer in the main event against RDR. I don't know if you heard, but it got changed. Now we've got Brendan Allen in the mix. Brendan Allen's here. Woohoo! Whoop-de-doo. Brendan motherfucking Allen. All right? The Anthony Hernandez versus RDR fight was not only the middleweight fight everyone was looking forward to, it was the fight that would determine who gets the next title shot. That was the one. It was between that one and the Kyle Baralho versus Imavov fight, which we saw. Imavov won, and now we were waiting for Anthony Hernandez to step up against RDR, and now it's in the trash. It got flushed down the toilet. Like the big shit that I just took. I just took a huge shit. It was the biggest one I ever took in my entire life. Big, solid logs. I couldn't believe it. And I was so thankful to have a bidet. But Fluffy Hernandez made a post the other day, and we're just going to go ahead and quickly read through that. Look at this gentleman. He looks very sad. As all of you have probably seen, unfortunately, I've had to pull out of my upcoming fight due to an injury. I want to sincerely apologize to the UFC, to my opponent, Reinier de Ridder, and to everyone who was looking forward to this matchup. Hi. That's me. You're talking to me. Good thing I didn't buy tickets. I also want to thank Brendan Allen for stepping up. It means a lot. Black handshake. To my fans, thank you for always tuning in, supporting me, and riding with me through everything. Right now, my focus is on getting healthy so I can come back stronger than ever. When I return, I'll be ready to make a statement. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Listen, Fluffy, you got to stop it. You got to stop it, dude. But he wasn't the only one. Brendan Allen wasn't the only one who was offered the fight. Paulo Costa was actually offered the fight as the replacement first. Or at least according to himself he was. He had this to say on a recent X post. To be fair, so Paulo Costa was offered the replacement for Anthony Fluffinator Hernandez. The UFC came to him, and then he proposed to the UFC. He said this: "To be fair, I proposed 3 rounds due to short time. And guess what? He said no for 3 rounds. UFC agreed to 3-round fight, but he didn't." Paulo Costa. What the fuck is the matter with you, you dirty Mexican? I know he's not Mexican. Okay? This is insane, Paulo. Do you not realize that this is the opportunity? This is your moment to make a statement and possibly get a shot at the title? This is his moment. We've talked about backup fighters and last-minute replacements before. Sometimes your one and only shot shows up out of nowhere and you just have to take it. And Paulo is refusing a title contender fight simply because he doesn't want to go 5 rounds? Are you kidding me? Even Kyle Baralho, who had his first loss alongside Rufy, just weeks ago said he would step in for 5 rounds. Check this out. Kyle posted this. I heard someone got hurt. Just call me and I'm in. 5 rounds, of course, because I'm not a pussy like some guy that said yes only to 3 rounds. Exactly. Listen, okay? Kyle is always willing to step up to the plate. No matter how recent it was since he last fought. You know, we saw him leading up to his Imavov fight. And we saw him leading up to the Khamzat fight. He was the backup fighter. Then he came around with only a few weeks later and fought Imavov. 2 weight cuts back to back. Okay? Now maybe that's not the smartest thing to do, but at least he's trying to be active. At least he's trying to get his name out there. And here he is again, stepping up again. Who gives a fuck if it's 5 rounds? You got to take this opportunity. Now, obviously they're not going to give it to him, but at least he's going out there and trying. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of heart and dedication we need to see. Paulo Costa has been talking trash for the past little while now. He's been saying that he's the guy to stop Khamzat's wrestling. He was on Ariel Helwani's show just a few weeks ago giving a full rundown on how to beat Khamzat Chimaev. And now he's saying he won't take the title contention spot because it's 5 rounds? What a fucking joke, dude. What a joke. Who does this guy think he is? Now, look, I've never thought that Paulo Costa can stand a chance against Khamzat or RDR, but at least stick to your word and show the world that you're willing to step into the octagon and at least try to prove your point. If you're going to talk the talk, then you got to walk the motherfucking walk, dude. But now Paulo has no chance of even sniffing the title at this point. He just torpedoed himself in the wrong direction. This guy's a lunatic. Okay, and now we've got Brendan Allen stepping in. And you know, props to him for taking it on short notice. But this matchup is certainly not nearly as exciting. RDR is going to walk all over Brendan Allen. It'll probably end quickly and likely by submission, which means RDR's chances of a title shot have dropped off completely. It doesn't even matter if RDR wins. Imavov is laughing right now because his most recent performance against Kyle stands out way more than anything RDR or Allen can do here. So at this point, we can almost guarantee Imavov is getting the next title shot. The whole point of RDR versus Hernandez was to prove who could deliver the better performance. Now that opportunity is gone. This fight doesn't help RDR in the slightest. He's cooked. He's cooked, dude. Anthony was the guy, coming off an 8-fight win streak, including that dominant performance against Dolidze. Brendan Allen, meanwhile, is on a 1-fight win streak after beating Marvin Vettori in July, and before that he was on a 3-fight losing streak to Kaio, Fluffy, and Imavov. Most of his wins come by submission. If he couldn't get past Kaio, Fluffy, and Imavov, there's no fucking way he's beating RDR. The only way RDR gets a title shot after this fight is if he puts on an absolute spectacular performance. Something that has everyone talking afterwards. Okay, Brendan Allen is ranked number 11. RDR is ranked number 4. This fight does nothing for RDR. And if for some miracle, Brendan Allen does beat RDR, he's still not getting a title shot. Doesn't matter how he does it. Brendan Allen's not getting a title shot from this fight, if for whatever reason he did win. Now, if we look back at Fluffy, he's in a rough spot right now. 100% rough Blumpkins for Fluffkins. After all this time, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez took to prove that he deserves a title shot. He's backing out of one of, if not the fight that matters the most aside from the title shot itself. And on top of all that, Fluffy Hernandez has now pulled out of 7 fights. He's pulled out 7 times since 2021, which includes this one. That's not only hurting his title chances, it might hurt his entire career. How many more times can a guy pull out before the UFC cuts him? We've seen it happen before. The UFC is a business. They won't let a fighter keep backing out no matter how good he is. Missing weight more than once is the biggest no-no in the UFC. That gets you cut. But repeatedly withdrawing from signed fights is next on the list. He only has so many chances left. If Fluffy keeps this up and doesn't take better care of himself in training, I could see a future where he's actually cut from the UFC. Another great talent with huge potential, pushed to the side, brushed away. It can happen. And I could see it happen. As crazy as that may seem, it has happened before, and it could happen again. He keeps hurting himself. He keeps backing out. Too many times. Now imagine if this was the title fight. Imagine. So let me ask you. Does RDR need a highlight reel finish over Brendan Allen to stay in the title mix? Or is Imavov a lock on the situation no matter what? And after 7 fight pullouts since 2021, is Anthony Fluffy Hernandez at risk of getting cut? Or does his skill set keep him safe? I need you to tell me right fucking now, you gross, disgusting hermaphrodite.